Since Procreate doesn't yet have a type along a path option within it, I want to share 2 ways that you can still letter along a curve in Procreate. So the first way is definitely the easiest way. What you'll want to do is grab your favorite lettering brush. I'm grabbing the Inky Edge Pro from my beautiful lettering brush set, and then just draw your curve. When you draw your curve, hold it until it snaps, hit Edit Shape, and then you can adjust the nodes if you don't like the curve that you originally drew or you just need to make small edits to it. Next, you're going to come back to your layers, reduce the opacity of that arc, and then duplicate your layer. With the duplicate layers selected, you want to drag it up, and if you have uniform and snapping turned on, it'll snap nicely and you can follow the line straight up. So just like that, I've got my curve. I can merge these two together if I would like, or if I need to make changes later on, if I want a taller X height, I still have my layers editable right here, so I can increase or decrease them as needed. Another thing I like to do is add in vertical guides. You can use the regular drawing guide to do this by going to the wrench, toggling on drawing guide, edit drawing guide, and then reducing the grid size, but then you still have horizontal guides here, which can make things a little confusing. So another option is using vertical guides. I'm grabbing the vertical pattern brush from my Tuesday lettering guides brush set, and on a brand new layer, I'm just going to paint in these vertical guides. To make it a little darker so you can see it on screen, I'm going to duplicate that layer and then pinch them together so they're twice as dark. These vertical guides can also give me a nice width so I can space my letters apart much easier as I'm lettering along a curve. Next, I'm going to write out the word that I plan to letter along the curve on the side so we can look at how many letters we're working with. Since this word has an odd amount of letters, I have 3 on one side and 3 on the other side, and S is my middle letter. Now I'm going to return back to my guide and just select one of the guides. I'm selecting the top one. Grab your cursor and pay attention to where this top center node is. That's the center of your arc. When you're still looking at where that node is, deselect it and paint a little dot right there. So now you know this is where the S goes. So now I'm going to create a brand new layer up at the very top, and this is the layer that I'm going to letter on. I can begin by putting my S in here, and then I can letter out the rest of my word using these vertical guide widths as a rough way of keeping spacing consistent. Once you have your lettering the way that you like it, just turn off your guides. I'm just going to group all of these guides together so then I can turn them all off at once. And that's the first way to create lettering on a curve. I'm going to use the same canvas for the next example, so I'm going to create a brand new layer, and I turned off my previous layer. Next, we do need to head into our drawing guides, so hit your wrench, go to drawing guide, edit drawing guide, and down here choose perspective. Then tap on the middle of your canvas to create a vanishing point, and you can reposition your vanishing point if you would like, and you can change the color of it by just dragging this color slider up here. I'm going to make it darker and thicker so you can see it better on screen. Then hit done. Now that we have our vanishing point, I'm going to repeat similar steps to what we just did with option 1. So create a brand new layer, draw the arc that you'd like, hold it until it snaps, edit shape, and reposition as needed. Reduce the arc's opacity, and then create a duplicate. I'm going to drag this one down instead of up this time. I'm doing this because my letters are going to get really wide as they head up here, but I can get better spacing if I'm down here closer to the vanishing point. Next, I'm going to select both of my arcs and drag them until I hit the center line of this vanishing point. So this strong vertical, I want this middle node to match up right on top of it. After you have that, deselect, create a brand new layer, and now letter everything out. And you're going to do it in the exact same way as we did before. So my S is going to go right here, and now I'm going to put a letter on every line. If you have a word with an even amount of letters, then you're going to leave this middle line as a space, and then you'll put your letters inside each one of these boxes instead of on top of the lines. Once you have your lettering and it's still small, you can now turn off your drawing guide and turn off your other guides. With your small lettering, duplicate that layer, turn off the original layer so you still have it if you need it, and then grab that copy, and with uniform and snapping turned on, scale it up to the size that you'd like to use it at. Once you have the scale, reduce the opacity, create a brand new layer, and then redraw it right on top for a crisper, more perfect image. Once you have your lettering redrawn, turn off the base layer. Now you have your lettering on a curve and you're ready to go. Both of these options work very similarly, but they can be a little different experience-wise when you're spacing your letters out. So my recommendation is try both, see which one works best for you, and then you'll be all set with lettering along a curve. If you enjoyed these lettering tips and you'd like even more, then be sure to check out my brand new course, Beautiful Lettering in Procreate. It can be found at beautifullettering.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week.